right, this is mock draft number 6. We did mock draft number 5 yesterday, so now it is time to get into it from the number 6 slot. Last time, we were a little surprised as Travis Kelce went number 3, so a few times we've had a few surprises thrown our way. Let's see how it all plays out. Today we are doing one of these from each one of the positions in a 12-team half PPR draft. If you've missed any of them, they're all available in podcast form and eventually all available on YouTube as well. So let us hit start draft. We will hit OK. Alright, remember to mute. So we have a bit of surprise here as Tyreek Hill goes number 2. So when it comes to us, I was hoping that this would eventually happen. So the first 5 picks of the draft, Christian McCaffrey, then 3 receivers. Tyreek Hill goes 2. Jamar Chase goes 3, Justin Jefferson 4, and Austin Eckler at 5, which means we finally get to test it out. What happens when you go Travis Kelce with your first round pick? A click. Why didn't it work? There we go. Scaring me for a second there. All right, so after that, Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, then you go Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Nick Chubb, a Jonathan Taylor sighting. At the back end of the first round, Patrick Mahomes, first quarterback off of the board. So we are now left Josh Jacobs, Josh Allen, Tony Pollard, Garrett Wilson available along with Jalen Waddle and Jalen Hurts. So we're right in that middle part where we can't rely on just anyone swooping back around to us. So immediately, I don't love the options at running back, and I also don't love the options at wide receiver. So we are seeing that at least very early on, Travis Kelce is maybe not the move here with the 6th overall selection. So you know what? Let's just double down on it. Let's go. Boom. Josh Allen with our second pick. So we have no running backs and no wide receivers. Let's see how this plays out. Instead of a 0 RB strategy, we're just going zeros across the board strategy. So after us, it went Garrett Wilson, then 2 running backs, Jacobs and Pollard. Jalen Hurts goes to team 2. Jalen Waddle goes to team 1, who then takes Ramondre Stevenson at the top of the 3rd round. Then it goes Chris Olave, Mark Andrews, another quarterback off the board, Najee Harris, and Devontae Smith. So now, with no running backs and no wide receivers to our name, let's see what we can come up with. So immediately we are looking at one of my favorite players here in the 3rd round, and that is Deebo Samuel. We haven't been in a spot to draft Calvin Ridley yet. I think that might be a bit of a reach. I think Deebo Samuel is going to have a phenomenal year with San Francisco, so I'm going to take Deebo Samuel at wide receiver, and we are really locked into 0 RB at this point. But a run on wide receivers happens. Higgins goes after, as does Metcalf and Ridley. Now we're getting into a few more running backs with Mixon, Walker, and Gibbs going off. A couple more quarterbacks leave the board, and it comes back to us. So top available players according to the ADP. Breece Hall is sitting right there along with Amari Cooper. And then Herbert, Hawkinson, and Kittle. We don't really have to worry about them now, do we? So then it's DeAndre Hopkins and Terry McLaurin. No running backs on our team just yet. It's feeling sketchy at running back right now. But again, I like the options at receiver more than I like the options at running back right now. So I think I might keep doubling down on this strategy, and I am going to go with DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver with the Tennessee Titans. So now wide receiver is locked in. We've really committed to the 0 RB bit. Let's see how this all plays out. Only a couple running backs off the board so far. Breece Hall is gone. Miles Sanders gone. Now we've had a bit of a run with Dameon Pierce and Cam Akers as well. But then it is Hawkinson, and then it is our pick here. So we're probably going to leave wide receiver alone. We should probably go to the running back spot. And I think we have a couple of decent ones here available. We have J.K. Dobbins with Baltimore along with Alexander Mattison out in Minnesota. I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins. I think he's a little bit better. And another year removed from injury. I think he's going to be all right this year. I think we could get a breakout. So you know what? We're looking okay. Looking okay with our 0 RB strategy right now. I definitely don't mind that where we're at. But now the issue, we've had a few running backs come off of the board, so our RB2 is going to look a little suspect. However, just like we did yesterday, Alvin Kamara is sitting there. He would be our RB2. I would feel all right with that. Wide receivers right now, Brandon Ayuk, Tyler Lockett, Marquise Brown, Michael Pittman. That's a bit of a fall, along with Evans and Pickens. So it is getting to a point where I do think there is a bit of a drop at wide receiver. So I might try to lock in here another wideout I don't love any of the options. And you know what? Honestly, none of the players available are as good as the two running backs. So just looking at it, while it does feel like there is a bit of a drop coming up receiver, I'm going to take the chance. We went Alvin Kamara yesterday. Let's switch it up. You know what? Let's stay with Alvin Kamara. Let's stay with Kamara. Let's not get too risky. Javonte Williams goes right after. That's the other one that we were thinking of clicking on. After Williams, it goes Dallas Goedert, Tyler Lockett, George Pickens, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Pittman. So that run we were worried about a wide receiver did happen. Marquise Brown and Mike Evans is done as well. But now we have, as we've had for everyone so far, all of our starting spots locked up, kind of, with Alvin Kamara being suspended for the first 3 weeks of the season. So because of that, we're going to need another running back. I think the best one available. So right now, it is available is David Montgomery, James Cook, AJ Dillon, Antonio Gibson, and then Zach Charbonnet, along with Rashad Penny. I think the most talented running back available out of all of those is Antonio Gibson. I do think we could maybe wait on that a little bit, but I like the talent of Gibson, so I'm just going to go Antonio Gibson and lock that one in. He'll be a fine flex play as the season goes along once Alvin Kamara comes back and kind of takes over number 2 running back duties. A few more running backs come off the board, as we mentioned. Cook, Montgomery, Chardonnay, A.J. Dillon off. But a pretty good run of wide receivers comes off right before us, Dotson, Burks, and Brandon Cooks. But I've been calling him Jalen Addison this whole time. It's Jordan Addison. My apologies, Jalen. But Jordan Addison is available to us here. He has been one who every time he comes off, it's like, man, I would have liked that one. So we're going to take the number 2 wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings here. And you know what? For starting with a tight end and a quarterback, I am feeling very good about how this draft is kind of shaking up. Khalil Herbert going 2 picks before us does sting a little bit. He's been one of the guys who I've been really liking as these drafts have kind of come around. So now we have an interesting strategy thing here where we could go Jamal Williams, who will be taking over a lot of the running back duties for Alvin Kamara for the first few weeks of the season. And at wide receiver, we could also go Michael Thomas and see where that is playing out. But this is, again, one of the things that we have noticed. It falls off at wide receiver before it falls off at running back. I don't love any of these options at receiver. Well, there's a couple of options here at running back that I do not mind. I'm going to take a gamble here and say Jamal Williams is still going to be available with our next pick in the 10th round. So at this point, we're going to take another shot here with our rookie wide receiver that we've loved taking so far. We're going to go Zay Flowers in the 9th, and we are going to hope like heck that Jamal Williams doesn't get taken, and there he goes. He does go end of the 9th round. So that was probably maybe a bit pie in the sky that Williams was going to fall to us. This one's interesting here. So it's Damian Harris, Elijah Mitchell, Jerick McKinnon, and Tyler Algier is available. Bijan is going to get a lot of it, but Algier was very fine as an Atlanta running back last year. So that could be a play there. Wide receivers available: Elijah Moore, Alan Lazard, Sky Moore, Adam Thielen, and Tyler Boyd. None of those really pique my interest at all. I'm going to go Tyler Algier here. I think he's a talented kid, so I think he's still going to get a bit of run out in Atlanta. But we are getting to that point where maybe it starts to make sense to take that first defense off of the board because we're not liking a whole lot of the options that are out there. Back-to-back running backs go before us. Geno Smith also came off of the board. So, we went Tank Bigsby last time. We might be going back to that route one more time here. I think we can probably wait. I want to get Darnell Mooney. I do want to get maybe one more receiving option to kind of round things out a little bit. Sorry for those watching. I'm kind of all over the place with the scrolling right now. But I think we are going to go Tank Bigsby here. Running back, like I said, I'm not a believer in Travis Etienne. So I think that there is a chance that Bigsby actually gets some pretty good run right now. We have had a couple of defenses come off of the board coming around to us, the Cowboys, Niners, Bills, and Eagles, but still some pretty good options out there like the Jets and the Ravens. Because of that, because you have Jets, Ravens, and Dolphins that are still available to us, I might consider actually waiting in this spot. But who stands out? It's Darnell Mooney and Romeo Doubs, like we've talked about in past drafts. Condre Miller, we could get that another New Orleans backup running back as well, or Jalen Warren as well. I feel like we have pivot options in all of these spots. It's just a matter of what the high end is. And so because of that, I do like Condre Miller. So we are going to take him running back for the New Orleans Saints. And now we've had a bit of a run on defenses. The Dolphins going to team one does sting a little bit. So the Jets, Ravens, and Dolphins all come off of the board. So that one kind of stings. At this point, it doesn't seem worth it to reach an extra round on a defense. We'll just take what's left. Darnell Mooney comes off the board 2 picks before us. That one hurts a little bit as well. None of the other running backs that we were kind of looking at have come off, including a Jalen Warren in this spot. But we said we wanted to get one more receiver. We're going to do that here with Romeo Doubs. I just think he could actually play a role in a Green Bay offense that is going to have a lot of variance this year, given a new rookie quarterback at the position. So we will see what happens there. Since our pick, only 2 defenses come off, the Saints and the Patriots. We are left with a Pittsburgh Steelers defense that I will gladly take as our 6th overall pick draft winds down here. The last pick is going to be whatever kicker is available, which has always been Brandon McManus. And so that is who we will take. The draft rounds out with a few more picks here, and then that is it. So to recap, we went 0 RB to start. Our quarterback is Josh Allen. Our receivers are Deebo Samuel and DeAndre Hopkins, and our tight end is Travis Kelce. With the 0 RB strategy, we still come away with J.K. Dobbins, Alvin Kamara, and Antonio Gibson as our running backs. For depth pieces, we have Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers, along with Tyler Algier, Tank Bigsby, and Condre Miller. Romeo Doubs, also a depth option at wide receiver. So we have some options actually out there at both positions. I was a little worried about how this was going to play out, but I love this team. So 6th overall, you are okay with me, as that worked out very, very well in I guess what is now the midway point of all of our mock drafts.